Bonjour! In this video, we are going to talk about why every business needs an audience or fans and how to actually build up that fan base. My name is Andrew from ecomexperts.io, and in these videos, we talk about strategy for your online business so you can make more dinero. So we're gonna divide this video in a couple of steps. Step number 1 is who should really be creating an audience. Step number 2 is how big should that audience be. Step number 3 is how much money is that audience going to make you and why is it a good return on investment. And last but not least, how do you build an audience? What do you do? But before we continue, only 3% of the people watching these videos actually subscribe. It would mean the world to me if we can get that number up, even just to 90. So if you're not subscribed, please, it keeps me going making these videos for you. And I make like 5 a week. Okay, with that, let's rewind the clock. So when I was still having my own brand, where we were selling these custom-made loafers, it was kind of the start of Instagram as a marketing channel where you would buy shoutouts. And these people that had these Instagram pages were making insane amount of money. They still do, but at the time it was rumored that Kim Kardashian, for example, was making $65,000 per post, and she would post 3 times a day. I'm sure now it's even more, but wrap your red head around that for a second. That's a lot of money. And frankly, there wasn't only these celebrities that had these huge pages. To this day, there's still these Instagram pages that are just a collection of really random things from the internet. They're just reposting them. I remember I actually advertised for $500 one shout out. The page had like 15,000 followers, not even that much. And they would just repost like men toys and fancy suits from other Instagram pages and credit where they would have the picture from. I mean, they wouldn't even create anything. They just had an audience. You see where this is going, don't you? So that's really the point where I started noticing, damn, these people, all they have is audiences. They're not really creating any more value than that. An audience is worth a lot of money. Okay, cool. So that brings us to our first step. Who needs to build an audience? Well, frankly, everyone should be building an audience. Let's say you're a dropshipper currently and you're like, well, you should definitely be building an audience, because if you have your true fans that, really trust you, you can stop getting dropshipping stuff from China and you can switch over to making some of your products yourself and start your own true brand, which is going to be worth way more than your dropshipping brand that everyone can just copy at any point if they find your supplier. So if you're starting to build your own brand as a dropshipper, you start having your followers, your true fans, and then you're onto something. But even if you're not a dropshipper, maybe you're a consultant, you should have your own audience, people that share your stuff. Look at Gary Vaynerchuk. He has his own audience. Or maybe you're a B2C company, Apple, Tesla, oh my god, they have their own audiences. Like seriously, remember Pepsi versus Coca-Cola? Like the fans of each of those brands were literally going at each other's throat. Like they were killing each other for who's better, Pepsi or Coca-Cola. Who cares? They're soft drinks. They had their true fans. So okay, you get the point. Having an audience is important and everyone should have an audience. But when does an audience really become relevant? How big should it be? And that brings us to point number 2. Well, I have a tiny little audience. It doesn't really matter if my audience is only 10 people. How big should an audience be anyway? I'm not gonna do this. This is stupid. Well, to you I say it's not stupid, and an audience should be what fits you. I mean, a 10-person audience could be hugely valuable. It's already an audience. It's 10 people that are your true fans and that will buy your stuff. And we'll see in point number 3 how. But it doesn't matter the size. For example, let's say you're a B2B business and you only have 100 fans, an audience of 100. But each of those fans spend approximately $10,000 a year in your services, meaning a little bit less than $1,000 a month, which is very doable. That means you're making $100K a year from an audience of 10 true fans. I mean, Well, talking about my audience too small to start, I mean, no, clearly you can make money from 10 people, come on. Or you can maybe have a 1,000 people audience that spends $100 a year on you. Well, that's still $100K in your pocket every year. Or maybe 100,000 followers that spend $1 a year on you, you're still making $100,000. I think you're starting to get the point here. It's not about how big or small your audience is. Any audience of any size is worth something. And the size really shouldn't be an excuse for you to delay starting building an audience. Okay, fine, I get that, Andrew. But I mean, how is an audience really gonna make me money anyway? Like, who cares? I should be focusing on other things instead. Well, I would challenge that. And if you don't agree, let me know in the comments. But having an audience can help you on 2 specific reasons I have in mind. Reason number 1 is, of course, you have your true fans. They will talk about you and refer you, and referrals are usually the best leads for your company anyway. But actually, that's not even in the 2 reasons why. One of the main reasons of having an audience is that you know that you're going to convert at least some part of it. So if you put out content in front of 1,000 people every day and suddenly you push a product in your content and 1,000 people see that, it's fair to say 2% is gonna buy. So that means about 40 sales from your audience. Well, that's something. You see, remember a couple of weeks ago, we talked about your number 1 duty as an entrepreneur. Remember right here? The number 1 thing that just needs to get done as an independent business owner is to make sure you spend the least amount of money acquiring a customer. Well, how much lower can you go in cost of acquisition when you just have an audience and just say, hey, look at my product, and people are immediately buying it? That's about as low as you can go in cost of acquisition. So, in other words, having an audience will make it really easy and really cheap to sell your products. That's one of the good reasons to have an audience. Another very important reason to have an audience is that, let's face it, not all your products are going to be as great. It's true. You see, everyone thinks that a business goes like this. Well, in reality, it's more of big waves. Not every product or service you're going to launch is going to be fantastic. And what a true audience of true fans actually brings you is they're going to stick with you even when you bring out something that's really not as fantastic as you would like. And they're going to make sure that you're going to be able to pay the bills until your next banger product or service is coming out. Look at Apple. People are still lining up for the newest iPhone. Is the newest iPhone really that great? No, not really, but Apple is still selling them like cookies, tons of them, because they're selling to their true fans. And their true fans are okay with having an okay product that's not as avant-garde and as awesome as the first iPhone. They're okay with that just to have that Apple product. Meanwhile, Apple is raking in the revenue and they can build their next groundbreaking product. You see, a true fan audience, a core audience, is going to bring you through these tough times. It's going to save you when you have a harder time, you can't innovate, you're going through a little slum in your business, which each business has. True fans will pull you through and will be okay if your product is not fantastic. They get it. They're still really happy to just have a product from you. So that's why true fans are super important in the existence of your company. And that's why you need an audience. All right, Andrew. So you're telling me that I need an audience. We covered who needs an audience, everyone. You're telling me that the size of the audience doesn't really matter. You told me that having an audience and true fans is going to cut my cost of acquisition and is going to pull me through tougher times in my company by still purchasing my stuff. I get it. I need an audience and I need some true fans. How do I do it? Well, that's the hard part. But don't be discouraged. Here are some pointers. Building an audience is kind of like building a business. There's no one way to do it. But here's what you can do. Figure out who in your context would be your hardcore fan. who would be your audience that would consume your content and your products no matter what. Like the person that is really into you. For example, when I had my shoe brand was made with vegan leather, and so I had the vegan community who would really back me up. Even if my product wasn't always the best one, they would still be there to give me their money and to help me through development for my next product. So I really had that vegan community as my buying persona. Once you figure out your buying persona, you know what that person likes and dislikes and where they spend their time and who they are, start catering to them. Give them a reason to become your fan. Engage in their community. Maybe sponsor an event that they care about. Write content that appeals to them and that helps them. Bring them value. Basically give them a reason for them to say, you know what, I like that brand, they're really cool and they fit with my values and what I like. And once you reach that point, once you reach a point of even a couple of people that say, you know what, I really like what this dude or this dudette is doing, it resonates with me and they're always very engaged in the things that I like as well. Once you have that, you're starting to build an audience. And that audience, like I said, is going to get you through tough times, is going to make product launches that much easier, is going to create referrals, and is going to make you a better brand. And if that doesn't sound good, then I don't know what does. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Next strategy video, it's next week, Wednesday. We're gonna talk about how to find that buyer persona, that typical fan persona, how to do the right research for it, how to identify them, and how to make sure you can start targeting them and creating content to them and start converting them in your true fans. I hope you enjoyed these type of videos. My name is Andrew from ecomexperts.io. I specialize in everything that's Shopify. Make sure to give it a like and subscribe. It really means the world to me, like it changes my world. Thank you so much and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao!